Hello, I'm a woman in my mid-30s now. I grew up as an only daughter in an ordinary family, where my childhood was that of an average middle class. My mom was an ordinary housewife, while my dad was a businessman who operated a small company. Even though his company was not large or hugely successful, he was able to afford to take care of our family. Then one day, when I was 20 years old and a sophomore in college, our family faced a financial crisis due to my father's business failure. My mom and I tried to avoid bankruptcy by getting jobs to earn money. My mom, who was just an ordinary housewife, began working as a delivery person to make money, while I quit college and got an entry-level job at a medium-sized company as a high school graduate. On the side, I had to get another part-time job working at a convenience store at night. This was to rescue our family from the sudden financial downfall caused by my father's business failure. However, the debt was much higher than I thought, so I had to continue working 2 jobs until I turned 30 years old. My mom also continued her delivery job. Thanks to our hard work, we were able to pay off most of my father's debt. I thought that since our family's finances had been somewhat resolved and we were stable, I could relax and start thinking about starting a family of my own. So I began preparing for my wedding with my boyfriend, whom I had been dating for several years. He was the manager of the convenience store where I worked part-time at night. He was a sincere and hard-working person like me, and we believed that if we continued to work hard together, our children wouldn't have to inherit poverty from us. However, the problem was my future mother-in-law, who owned the convenience store where my boyfriend and I worked. She was well known in the area for being wealthy, as she owned 3 successful convenience stores with high gross sales. She opposed her son's marriage to me, a daughter of a failed businessman from an impoverished family. She would openly criticize me, saying that she was not happy with my background as a daughter-in-law for her family. She would say, "I heard that you quit college in your 2nd year." Yes, Mother, when I was a sophomore in college, my father's business failed, and we had to declare bankruptcy. My mom and I had to work to support our family. I don't want to hear your tearful story, just discuss the results. So, in the end, you only have a high school degree, right? If you want to be that detailed, I guess that's true. But I can proudly say that I have lived honestly and worked very hard. Why do you keep saying something else? Just tell me the results. It's not important how you live. What's important is how qualified your background is to be a marriageable bride. Background requirement as a bride? I'm hearing that word for the first time. Think simply. Marriage is the same as getting a job. Think of it as an analogy that would help you understand. I was speechless. Why? When you get a job, your educational degree or certificates, and your parents' profession all add up to assess your qualifications for a position, right? Well, marriage or a profession is all the same. I don't think one's personality is that important. I only see how she would be compatible with my son as a requirement, her background and her position in the community. That is the most important. Oh, I see. I understand. But I'm quite surprised because it's something you would only see in a movie or a drama on TV. What the? It's me who's surprised. My son has graduated from a well-known 4-year university, even though it's not an Ivy League university. But you're merely a high school graduate, aren't you? Do you think you are on par with my son? Also, do you think our social positions as in-laws will fit when I'm the wife of a wealthy family, while your mom is a milk delivery lady? Who will think that? Still, Mother, my mom has worked harder than anyone to support our family. I have also done my best, and have not done anything that I would be ashamed of. Never mind. I take offense that you address me as Mother. I don't intend to approve this marriage, so why are you calling me Mother? Then how should I address you? Call me boss. I guess that would be best. Pardon me? Don't even dream of getting my approval for this marriage, so call me boss, okay? If you understand that, just go now and work. These days, all young part-timers have no sense of work ethics. While you and I are talking like this, do you know that my store is a mess? Do you realize that? She was always like that. It wasn't enough for her to belittle me for being a high school graduate, she would also degrade my mom's job as a delivery person. Then, when the talk of marriage came up, she withheld giving me my pay. She wouldn't let me address her as my future mother-in-law, yet she insisted that her store was a family-oriented workplace and tried to use that slogan in order to make me work for free. Her double-standard tactics became worse as time went by. She demanded that I leave my regular full-time job early to make up for other workers' absences, and tried to extend my working hours by making me do her household chores. The abuses of her position of power were horrible. While she would use an excuse that I was working as a family and put me to work, her opposition to my marrying her son did not change. From my point of view, I felt confused and conflicted. I wondered how a person could be so two-faced when she firmly announced that she would never accept me into her family, yet forced me to work for her without paying a cent, by stressing that I had to think like a family. Of course, I wasn't the type to just take that kind of treatment quietly. I had been working early on, so I had experience in dealing with such abuses. "What is the notebook?" she asked. "It's my daily working journal, Mother. Why do you keep calling me Mother?" "I'm your boss." "The boss?" "Yes, right. Since you haven't approved of our marriage, I will call you boss. Will you be satisfied with that?" "What is there to be satisfied about? It should be that way." "Never mind. But why are there so many numbers in your daily work journal?" "It looks like an accounting ledger. You seem to have a talent for it." "I have been working as a bookkeeper ever since I was 19 years old, and have worked for over 10 years. So of course, didn't I tell you? Only talk about the results." "What kind of ledger is this?" "It's my part-time work pay that I hadn't been paid since the talk of my marriage came up. It includes the hours of work that I did that you asked me to do, including the work I did. You are a lot more dangerous person than you seem, aren't you?" "I beg your pardon? This is why I couldn't help but oppose you for this marriage. Even before we were married, you were thinking of putting my in-laws' company out of business." "What do you mean I put my in-laws out of business?" "It's a record of my pay that I have the right to receive as a result of my honest labor. I said it was a family-oriented workplace just because I helped out as a family member. Does that mean I shouldn't get paid for my work? If this convenience store was your father's store, would you demand payment for every minute of your work here?" "But didn't you say that I wasn't your family member and you aren't going to approve my marriage? You wouldn't even let me address you as Mother. So what do you mean that it's a family-oriented workplace and doing chores to help out as a family?" "Well, let's stop all this talk. By tomorrow, come over to my house and clean the windowsills. Too much dust has piled up there. Since I haven't received a penny since the talk of marriage was brought up, I have made a detailed record of the working hours, including all kinds of menial chores my future mother-in-law demanded me to do and did not pay me. I have been an experienced bookkeeper for 10 years. It is a well-organized ledger that records every penny. Yet, my future mother-in-law insists on putting me to work without paying me while not allowing us to get married. Then, one bright sunny day in summer, everything changed."
Didn't you hear?
From Poppers?
You have no conscience.
"A gap in social positions. Where? Isn't this a democratic country where all people are created equal? How could a person be equal in front of money? Really? Are you smirking at me? How dare you laugh at me? Okay, let me show you very clearly what the gap between you and me is." She yelled at me and threw an envelope at me triumphantly. She did it as if to say to me to just take the money if I didn't want to be treated as a needy person and disappear, or shut up and just quietly wash her car. Inadvertently, I received the envelope, but I broke into laughter once again. If she wanted to portray the role of a wealthy madam, then she should act like a rich lady in a TV drama with a large sum of money. But the envelope that she threw at me was, I thought you were going to act like a wealthy woman who threw a huge sum of money, but this is my pay that I have the right to receive, which you did not pay until now, including the menial jobs you forced me to do. Just take the money quietly and be grateful for it. Why should I be grateful when I'm getting my rightful pay? Why do I have to be grateful to you for that? It was money that I didn't have to pay you, and it wouldn't have mattered even if I didn't. I wasn't going to give it to you ever, but you are being so insolent. So just to teach you a lesson, I'm giving it to you, so you should be grateful. Excuse me, but listen, even if it breaks your heart, you should speak honestly. The order is wrong. You are the one who should be grateful to me and pay me. It's the pay you were supposed to give me. I don't have to be grateful to receive this money. Why do I have to be grateful to pay you with my hard-earned money? You must think that the gross sales from your store just happen automatically, don't you? I don't think so. If you have the slightest bit of common sense and a rational mindset, you would not think so. Why? It's because your workers, like me, work hard, and if you don't manage it well, the gross sales could plummet overnight. You make me laugh. You're just doing menial jobs, yet you're trying to justify getting paid regularly. Well, it seems you will never change. Anyway, since this money is what is owed to me as my pay, I will take it. Who cares if you're not grateful to me for my hard work? Now we're strangers. Hey, what? Are you telling me that you're gonna break off the engagement or what? Do I have to spell it out for you to understand? I thought your mental IQ was that of a 9-year-old. But your intelligence is also still at a 9-year-old level. If that's the case, then I will spell it out for you. From this moment on, I am officially breaking off our engagement. How dare you? What kind of law is this? In this country, money is everything. There is no way a wealthy person would kowtow to a pauper. If there is any cancellation of the engagement, it will be done by me first. Well, think as you wish. I have no inkling to be associated with you any longer. So it doesn't matter which side first broke off the engagement, because the result is the same. That result that you love so much. That day I left with the money envelope my future mother-in-law handed to me. It was my pay that I had the right to receive, so I confidently took it. At the same time, I broke off my engagement. I loved my fiancé, but I had no confidence to take the condescending treatment for the rest of my life, so I didn't want to go ahead with this marriage. I also felt that if I had an unhappy marriage, it would break my parents' hearts who gave birth to me and raised me with their love and sacrifices. After my fiancé heard about my decision to break off our engagement, he sobbed silently for a long time. Then he respected my decision and accepted it. But he was furious against his mother at the same time. I was at a crossroads for my second life when I faced my broken engagement. That was around the time that we had paid off all my father's debts. I felt that I needed to find my own life, so I handed in my resignation to the company that I worked for 10 years as a bookkeeper. I had already given my notice to my future mother-in-law's convenience store. I was preparing for a Certified Labor Relations Specialist examination. To explain about the Certified Labor Relations Specialist job, it is a labor law specialist as a part of the human resources profession who specializes in providing liaison between employers and employees during a labor conflict. The reason I decided to take this path rather than finishing college was because of my future mother-in-law. When I fell victim to abuses by my future mother-in-law, my employer, where she withheld paying me, I found out that a lot of other workers were abused by their employers. Workers worked hard, but didn't get paid properly. I could empathize with them dearly because I was also a victim of non-payment for the work I had done. I learned that there were a lot of such unscrupulous employers who take advantage of innocent workers. So I wanted to be on the side of social justice and chose that profession. More specifically, it was to protect the workers from greedy and vicious employers. After I made the decision, I began studying for the examination. And after 2 years, Mom, I passed the exam. What? I passed? Now I can work as a Certified Labor Relations Specialist. Wow, is that right? Of course, how could a Certified Labor Relations Specialist misrepresent? Even if you weren't one, my daughter never lies. Anyways, that's right. Wait, we shouldn't be like this. Let's go somewhere together. Get dressed quickly. Shall we go out to eat? Are we gonna have ribs? Eating out is a given. I have one more gift that I thought of giving you when you start studying for your exam. A gift? Just follow me. You will find out soon enough. The place my mom took me was an office. It was small and humble, but it was perfect for me to pursue my dream of working as a Certified Labor Relations Specialist. Wow, it's perfect. I was going to look for an office, but when did you think of getting this for me? I was thinking of it when you first decided on your dream. I will make the final payments when you move in. You don't have to, Mom. It's your hard-earned money. I want to use my hard-earned money for something meaningful. Consider it as your mom also realizing her dream along with her daughter. I want to help you do good work and help people in need. Okay, Mom, thank you. I will do my best. So that's how my mom and I opened a private practice as certified labor relations specialists. We wanted to work towards social justice in that office. And before long, a client came to us. It happened to be a part-time worker who used to work for a long time at one of the convenience stores owned by my ex-future mother-in-law. She was a victim of non-payment. While I listened to her story, I couldn't shake off the thought that women never change their nasty ways. I decided to teach her a lesson by seeking justice for my clients. With her help, I found other victims who were not paid by my ex-future mother-in-law. Surprisingly, there were a lot more workers who were not paid by those 3 stores. I gathered evidence like crazy, even sacrificing sleep to help the workers who were not paid. I organized it in detail, not missing anything, and itemized the illegal acts that violated labor laws and resulted in non-payment of wages for all the hours worked. After I finished, I went straight to the labor department where my friend worked. With her help, I got her to send a subpoena notice to the employer, while I sent demand letters as a representative of the victims. Finally, on the day of the appearance after being subpoenaed, I wore my black suit that my mom had ironed and appeared in front of my ex-boss. It's surprising to see you here again. How long has it been? I asked. It's been over 2 years, Madam Respondent, she replied. Why are you talking like that? When we were breaking off the engagement, you spoke so insolently. I retorted, but why are you speaking so formally today and even wearing a suit? I was the one who broke off the engagement, and you should speak respectfully to me too, Madam Respondent. It's because I'm the representative of all those victims who did not receive their wages properly. A representative? You're the same pauper, so how dare you represent anyone? With what qualifications? As a former worker at the convenience store? Or as a neighborhood friend? I guess you haven't figured out the current situation at all. I proudly handed over my business card as a certified specialist in labor relations. It's too bad that we meet this way, Madam Respondent, but I'm a certified specialist in labor relations who is representing the victims of non-payment of their wages, Miss Chase. She couldn't believe that I became a certified specialist in labor relations, and she kept looking at me and my business card alternately for several times. Finally, her face turned white, as if she realized she was in big trouble. Regardless, I had no sympathy for her. On behalf of all the victims, I couldn't give her any slightest room for sympathy. On behalf of the victims who were not paid intentionally by the respondent here, I hereby request the following. First, immediately pay the unpaid wages to all of the victims here. Second, pay the interest for the duration of non-payment of the wages, including the penalty that was allowed by the law of 25% of the unpaid wages after each violation of $200. What are you doing? Are you trying to take revenge against me? Please watch what you're saying. Right now, this is a public hearing, and you as an employer have no right to raise your voice for what you have done. To continue, the victims of the unpaid wages are requesting these 2 demands for now. What? So do you have any proof? We have more than enough proof. Isn't that why you have been subpoenaed to appear here? So choose. Do you want to admit your wrongdoings and pay the wages immediately? Or should we take the next legal steps? You have no evidence. I have never not paid the workers their wages. Is that what you're claiming? Of course, I pay fully enough to all those lowly workers as part-timers who are just doing menial jobs. Menial jobs? Lowly workers? I hope the Labor Commissioner takes note of those discriminating remarks the respondent just spoke out right now. That is causing undue infliction of emotional distress on the victims. What? Is that a problem? So what? Let them make a note of that. Did I not pay the workers? What is this world coming to? It's so scary. If a worker is in a poor situation and ends up working at a convenience store, no matter how much the wage, the worker should be humble and grateful to the employer for paying their wages. But what? Unpaid wages? All right, as a donation, I will pay $1. So take it, you ungrateful whiners. The labor commissioner listened to both sides and told us to leave, and will send their conclusion. I couldn't believe how she acted so belligerently when she was subpoenaed. Looking at her acting like that, she made me feel even more strongly to fight against her and make sure that all of our victims would find justice and be compensated for their suffering from undue humiliation. I went straight to court to file complaints on behalf of the victims in civil court. It was to get compensation for emotional distress from unpaid wages, verbal abuse, slander, and discrimination. In the end, all of the plaintiffs in the civil lawsuit won the judgment in their favor, with a substantial amount awarded to them. My evidence that I had organized for each plaintiff was so well prepared that my ex-boss's side couldn't even put up any proper defense against them. Both the Labor Department and the court ordered my ex-boss to pay back wages, penalties, and compensation, but she was still belligerent and would not comply with the court order, because while the criminal suit had injunction power to force her to pay, the civil court judgment did not. Taking advantage of that, she flatly refused to pay. She thought that we couldn't force her to pay a penny of it. But was she right about that? Hey, who are you in front of my car? Oh my God, is that you again? I guess so. It's too bad that we meet this way again, Madam Defendant. No matter what you call me, get out of here. Even if I lost in the civil court, it doesn't matter if I don't pay. So get out of here. Well, I don't know if it will work the way you have it figured out, but in 2 years, your car has changed again. It's so shiny, so it must be a new car. When you claim that you have no money to pay your victims, where did you get the money to buy a new car? What are you? Are you a private collector or something? Are you threatening me? I'm not a private collector. I'm a certified specialist in labor relations. It's not a threat, but a legal administration of justice that I'm here. What? You're a mere labor specialist, so what right do you have to administer anything? Are you a DA or a judge? Even a DA or a judge can't put their hands on other people's property. So who are you to do this? Who are you to wander around my precious Mercedes-Benz that I haven't even ridden that many times yet? Well, as of today, this car is no longer yours. The law is not that easy. Since you like conclusions first, that's the conclusion I'm giving you as a certified specialist in labor relations. I handed over the court order to my ex-boss, and when she reviewed the document very carefully, her face turned white. It was the order of attachment to her beloved car that she didn't even write many times. That's right. A civil court judgment does not have the same enforcement rights as a criminal judgment. If you claim to have no money, the state cannot force you to pay the full amount at once. So you're saying that this is illegal. How could a certified specialist in labor relations enforce something that is not legal? You should listen to the end. I told you that the law is not that simple and weak. Your victims have become your creditors, so they have the right to pursue and collect what is owed to them. Based on the court order, we were able to certify the victims as your creditors with the right to assess an attachment against your property. As a result, your car has been attached. Stop saying nonsense. The case was related to the convenience store and not my personal property. There is no law that allows for personal property to be attached. Your 3 convenience stores are all in your name, and the car that we have attached is also in your name. Let me ask you, when your car is in your name and the attachment order is also in your name, is it legal or illegal to attach your car? She couldn't even respond. I answered for her. Of course it's legal. So, I'm giving you a notice that your car has been attached according to the law, starting right now. My ex-boss lost her temper and tried to slap me in the face. Right then, my ex-fiancé suddenly appeared and embraced me to protect me from his mother's attack. He blamed his mom for ruining his marriage and reputation in front of the workers at the convenience stores. He shouted his resentment against her and announced that he would sever ties with her. Then I said to her, "This is a warning, so you better listen carefully. If you repeat your wrongdoings, you will see me again. I plan to do my best to ensure that proper justice is served. I want to teach you a lesson, that no one is above the law, regardless of how much money you have. So her luxury car that was attached was put up for auction, and the proceeds were used to pay the money owed to the victims of my ex-boss. If she had paid the money promptly, the attachment could have been voided. However, because she was spending money recklessly and living extravagantly, she did not have the cash readily available to pay the court-ordered judgment. Therefore, it was inevitable to put the car up for auction. Regardless, the victims were happy that they were finally paid. It was rumored that my ex-boss was on the verge of bankruptcy. Those 3 stores, which were once the most profitable, failed because she couldn't find any workers to work there. This was due to the news spreading about her being an unscrupulous employer who wouldn't pay wages on time and treated her workers terribly. My ex-fiancé and I started to date again, albeit very cautiously. My fiancé was greatly disappointed by his mother, so he completely cut off his ties with her. So we're trying to get over the pain incurred by his mother and trying to rebuild our relationship and dream for our future together. I am working in the same profession, doing my best. As I have been working so far, I will continue to fight for justice in our community. I hope that I will continue to make a difference. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope no unfair things are done to you. And I hope you make good relationships with good people. Take care. Please cheer for me and write your comments of wisdom in the comment section. Pressing like and subscription is a big help to me. Have a wonderful day.